Welcome back to Lone Pine Tarot, or welcome for the first time if you're just finding your way here. For this pick a card reading, we're going a little farther than usual, past the forest and down to the water's edge. The lake is still as glass, save for the gentle lap of water against the shore, and if you peer closely at the surface, you'll see the stars reflected back at you. The universe has been holding something for you, and sometimes the clearest way to see what's ahead of us is to gaze within. Take a look at your 3 pile leaders, 3 stars to follow for your pick a card journey. Over here on the left for pile 1, we have the Star of Tarot Landscapes. In the middle for pile 2, we have the Star of the Spacious Tarot. And over here on the right for pile 3, we have the Star of the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Pause here if you need a moment, but your timestamp is waiting in the description. I'll see you in the reflection. Hello there, pile number 1, or my Tarot Landscapes deck star pile for today. As you recall, you were drawn to the card with the firefly and the shooting star in the background. Now, we will actually be drawing your tarot cards later, but for now, I will put this off to the side to make room for your oracle card spread. So, calling on spirit for your highest best good, what message from the universe do you want pile 1 to know today? What must they know? What advice or guidance do you have for them? Maybe a blessing coming, maybe a warning. Alright, and I'm feeling drawn to this one. So your first card today is what looks like something positive, pile 1. We have the card of delight with, I'm not sure what kind of songbird that is, but it is a songbird of some sort. Feel free to weigh down in the comments below if you know which one. But beautiful. We have delight as your very first card. Seems like some clear skies coming your way, metaphorically, maybe literally speaking too, because not only do we have the clear skies of the delight card that of course just came out, but we also have the clear skies here that you were drawn to with the shooting star in your pile leader card today. Wonderful. And then from the Dream Ritual Oracle, we have, very beautiful, the card of Inspire with the new moon, so the start of a new cycle, which once again makes me think of clearing skies, maybe some older negative energy moving out of your life soon that spirit and the universe want to give you a heads up about. And of course you can see we have a grand piano with the music clef, or staff I should say, up here. Even frequency at the very bottom, being inspired, hearing things in terms of maybe inspiration from above. A lot of times, at least in my personal opinion, a lot of our creativity does come from sources that we don't necessarily expect. Sometimes an idea just drops in your head. Maybe recently you have been having a lot of random inspiration, or at least it kind of seems random, pile 1, but at the same time I think that might be, if that applies to you, that might be a message from spirit, from the universe, in terms of something for you to pay closer attention to. Could be advice or wisdom they want you to see, or it could also be some sort of synchronicity in a symbol that they want to have you pay attention to that is a part of your message as well. So music in general too. A lot of times we get messages through, I typically call them earworms. It's when a song kind of gets stuck in your head. You're not sure why. You ever wake up in the morning and you have a song stuck in your head, you're not sure. Sometimes those can be messages too. Then we have search with the keywords of external versus internal. And we do have, it's a very faint moon. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera at the very top. Very faint. So it makes me think of the new moon, just like here in the Inspire card, which once again makes me think of new cycles, things finally ending and making room for better cycles to come forward. So it's that clear skies thing again. And of course, when we think about the word search, we're looking for something. And even actually, is that a tear on her face? once again, not sure if you can see it, but that is a tear on her face. Like she's letting go of something. So I think in the near future for you, pile 1, or maybe even right now, you have maybe been working on or wanting to let go of old cycles or things that are weighing you down. And I have an intuitive feeling, this is a part of the intuitive message for today from everything, that whatever you've been working on in terms of letting go of old energy, stagnant energy that doesn't really serve you anymore, it's like spirit trying to tell you, yes, that is finally on its way out. So whatever your particular situation with whatever it is you've been trying to let go of or old cycles you're trying to close, I do see a lot of synchronicity here that pretty much confirms that those things are going to finally leave. And we're seeing a lot more, well, as we said in the very beginning, clear sky is coming forward for you. So far, your message from the universe is about letting go of the old successfully. But of course, we'll see some more messages. We actually do have one more oracle card today from the Wild Harmonic Oracle. And I will be reading from the guidebook for this one, because this is one of those decks where the guidebook is so, well, number 1, it's well written. And number 2, it is very deep. Very crucial to understanding the cards, so... Your wild reflections today is, we have Spirit of Dimensional with entering discovery. So we have, once again, that implication of something starting with the word entering, like opening a new door into something new, and discovering something, which is very similar to your search card, as you'll recall. So let's actually read that guidebook entry right now, and then I will put your star card back into the tarot deck before we draw your spread right after the guidebook, but... And we'll put that over here. Actually, we're going to switch these out. It's a little bit better fit, right? Beautiful. Okay, let's look at that guidebook for you, pile 1. I also just like reading from this guidebook because I think sometimes synchronicities come out that you recognize that I don't for your own particular situation in what is mentioned. So we have a Spirit of Dimensional with entering discovery. As the spirit of creativity ascends into the dimensional expanse, so we have creativity coming out again, especially maybe with music, or inspire was one of your cards. Yes, as it ascends into the dimensional expanse, the mystery reveals itself to itself, one moment at a time. Excuse me. Curiosity, playfulness, and the inherent gratefulness of a life lived in awareness. This card is the invitation to heal myself of the narratives which entrain me away from the recognition of the truth of my being. It is a return to wonder, exploration, and inherent appreciation. As I balance, align, unpack, heal, reconcile, secure, and otherwise attend to the denied parts of my being, I find tremendous energy freed up that naturally wants to rest in the dynamic unfolding of this present moment. And the inquiry at the bottom, which is, I find very good to kind of summarize the message as well as just a question to meditate on, to ask yourself. It says, what is it I am discovering right now about myself, others, and or life? And I think pile 1, based on the cards so far, a lot of that discovery phase for you has been related to, as I said, realizing recently, or very near in the near future, if you haven't quite met it yet, realizing what no longer serves you. It's that letting go of the old that I mentioned before. And I think part of the reason why Spirit / the universe wants to reach out to you today about this is because not only do they want to reinvigorate your search for the new and letting go of the old, but especially for those of you that have been finding it very difficult, they want to give you a heads up, I am hearing intuitively, that something very happy is going to take its place, aka the delight. And also too with inspiration. Especially those of you who are very creative, because that was mentioned like twice now with inspire, and then I think it was also mentioned in your guidebook. Yes, as the spirit of creativity it mentioned. For those of you who are creative, I think this part of your life that you're letting go, my condolences, especially if it's been, well, extra painful. Sometimes letting go of old things, of course, can be painful, right? But sometimes when we let go of things, it can be the most fruitful, fertile ground for planting the seeds of inspiration for our creative projects. I mean, most of human expression when it comes to music or art or writing or whatever sort of creative passion you might have tends to be pretty much rooted in pain of some sort, or a longing, or some sort of deep human emotion that we have a hard time expressing outside of that particular avenue, you know, like I said, either through music, painting, writing, whatever your creative vocation is, right? So on top of this, making room for this delight coming into your life very soon, which I do see that because of that card, right? I think it also will help you a lot for those of you who maybe have had some creative blocks recently. Maybe you're kind of wondering, like, why is my energy just not there? How come when I get to the canvas or the document, or you know, maybe some of you write on a typewriter. I'm hearing that for some particular reason. Some of you might be old-fashioned writers, right? Maybe a Google Doc or Microsoft Word isn't for you, but that, or yeah, like the piano or music composition software, what have you. If you've been finding that that's been hard lately, like it's just nothing staring back at you, no matter how many hours you look, I think you're going to find that well opened again very soon, because something about the energy of where you have been and like the things that you're letting go is going to make room for that creativity to flow again. I use this metaphor a lot in my readings, but it makes total sense, so I'm going to repeat it again. It's the metaphor of, you know, sometimes in life when we have blockages, it's like when we look at a creek that has been clogged up with, you know, maybe trash or old leaves that the trees didn't need anymore, or it could even be ice too. Ice can block creeks, obviously, and then when the spring thaw comes, there it flows again. So to summarize, is what I'm saying is I feel like even if it's not just creativity pile one, I think your near future here and everything going on around you that the universe wants to talk to you about today is that thaw, or that clearing of that old trash or leaves that you don't need anymore, that you shed, just like the trees, right? You know, leaves obviously being a metaphor for, say, maybe relationships you don't need anymore, or self-doubts you don't need anymore, etc., whatever it might be, or a job you don't need anymore. You're looking for something better in maybe all areas of life, perhaps. It's a very, very good time for that. It's like a spring thaw, very fitting at the time that we're watching. Well, maybe you're watching this in the far future, but at the time I'm uploading this, it is spring where I'm at. So makes sense for lots of new energy and thaws. And I think inspiration will flow again. I think, excuse me. I think what you've been searching for, you will find. I think you're going to make room for more delight, and just to keep asking yourself, like Spirit of Dimensional says, I think, was it to always look at the examples around you? Let me look at that question one more time. Spirit of Dimensional, at the bottom it says, what is it I am discovering right now about myself, others, and or life? And that ties into that search card especially. So keep searching. Keep asking yourself, what am I discovering around me? What am I discovering about myself? What am I discovering about others? And that will also lead down paths that bring you greater delight here in the near future, okay? So, with that being said, though, we do have tarot cards to look at. So let's grab the Tarot Landscapes, where I put your star back in earlier, and give it a good shuffle. Okay, Spirit and the Universe, can you give us 5 cards? What else do you want to say to pile 1 today? What do they need to hear most? Maybe we'll even get insight into what positive things are coming forward. It's kind of the feeling I'm getting, but let's keep going. We have, speaking of things thawing and going faster, although this particular depiction is fireworks, it fits very well with that creek opening metaphor that I just mentioned, in which the 8 of Wands, well, number 1 is great for creativity, but it also is a card of things moving faster. So whatever has been slow in your life recently, I do see lots of progress moving forward here. Just as I said with that creek metaphor, things are thawing. The debris is moving out of the way and making room for you. Also, that can be in general for everyone watching this particular pile, that just progress in general seems to be a really big theme coming forward for you too today. Beautiful. And once again, a lot about the sky. Like you looking up at the sky. Just remember your star in the beginning was like the firefly with a shooting star off in the distance, and then the sky is here with delight being clear. Maybe you have been stargazing a lot lately. Might be a sign in that for you too. And then we have the Tower. Okay, so the Tower is an intense card. It tends to be a card that represents massive change in our life. Sometimes it can mean disaster, but let me pull the card right after it just to make sure to get some context. However, even if it does mean a massive change, pile 1, usually it's for the better. And I think I'm hearing intuitively this massive change here is not so much the disaster interpretation. I think it's more about you having reflected and trying to bring in that new energy and letting go of the old that we were talking about before, that maybe has led to massive changes in your life. So this, technically in my spread, this is the recent past position. So like, I'm not seeing this as a future massive change. I think you probably have already been going through it. Maybe that's why you came to this reading. You want some feedback from the universe on this particular change you've been going through. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. It's been hard work though. Still requires hard work. So a lot of this near future phase here is about you continuing or being encouraged to by the universe to continue to put hard work into things, especially because the Eight of Pentacles is reversed. Maybe you're getting kind of tired. Maybe you're kind of losing hope that these things will change, in which case that's probably why you're being reached out to today, because they're trying to encourage you even greater. No, keep going. Keep the marathon going. They know you're tired, because even when you look at the Search card over here, I'll show you again. She looks extremely tired, doesn't she? She's got her arms holding up her head like a pillow. She's crying because change is hard. Change is extremely difficult, especially if we're making major changes like the Tower has kind of implicated, right? Or implied. But you're encouraged to keep going because it is leading to somewhere even better. I promise you. Let's look at your next card. We have the Knight of Cups. So we have some advice here. I'll talk about it more in a second. I think this is more advice on how the universe / spirit wants you to carry yourself here in the near future to help you even on a smoother version of this journey. But once again, we'll talk about that in a second. And then, but beautiful, we have the Three of Swords reversed as the final outcome card. I will tell you this, what you're feeling with pain right now, the Three of Swords reversed often represents a time when the pain has finally come to an end. So yes, this is kind of what I was already saying. So a bit repetitive, but it's good to get those synchronicities and those repetitions because it's just the universe re-encouraging us. Yes, this is what I meant earlier. This is what was coming out intuitively earlier, and we're confirming now with the depictions and the meanings of the cards. Okay, so yes, I know it's been difficult, and so has Spirit. It's been very, very hard. I think you might be on the cusp of giving up, pile 1. And I don't blame you, because whatever these massive changes have been or that you've been seeking have not been easy. Especially with the Eight of Pentacles reversed as the Heart of the Matter card. That can mean we've been working really hard, but we're kind of running out of steam. We're getting a little bit, maybe this feeling of despair of like, will this ever change? Will I ever get past this? Will I ever let go of those things I don't need anymore? Okay, but you're very well on your way if you keep working hard, because that's part of the advice of the Eight of Pentacles reverse, is to keep drilling at it, keep going at it, just like because the traditional depiction is, if from my memory, is the Eight of Pentacles is a blacksmith's apprentice keeping hammering away at something. That's why it represents hard work and repetition. So keep doing that as much as you can. Be easy on yourself too. Don't take it too hard, because sometimes the Eight of Pentacles reversed can mean to slow down just a little bit in terms of making sure you take care of yourself and not burn out. It's a very common burnout card too with it being reversed. So just keep those things in mind. As I always say, in all things balance, right? Keep that in mind. However, don't give up either. And if you do that, as I think you're currently doing from the energy I'm feeling, you will come to the end of pain. The heartbreak will pass, the pain will pass. That's what the Three of Swords reversed is always about. However, as the last piece of advice today, you have the Knight of Cups, as I said earlier. I think is kind of a little bit of a nudge of wisdom towards you and how to keep going forward on this path of thawing. And so the Knight of Cups is often a card that encourages us to take action, but specifically it's about taking action in the direction of our relationships or our emotions, kind of using our goals for our relationships or our like healthier emotions as a North Star to follow, or it can also mean to follow your heart. So when things get gloomy, when things are hard to keep going, or they have been hard to keep going already, I think, from what I'm seeing from this reading, right? Just keep asking yourself deep down, just like your Spirit of Dimensional card talks about. What am I learning about myself and others right now? How does that make me feel? How does it change my perspective of my relationships? And what does my heart want to do after these realizations? That's the meaning of this Knight of Cups combined with what your Spirit of Dimensional was asking you to do. Okay? But that being said, I think you're already well on your way to that progress, as I said before, because you have the Eight of Wands, which is things happening really fast, and you have the Delight card, which is a card of, well, what it says on the tin. Things getting better, things being delightful, full of joy. And I just realized, too, it is a card of spring. Duh, I should have seen that earlier, because I mentioned the spring thaw, right? But literally, it's a songbird in spring. The grass is growing again. The flowers are growing again. Everything looks brighter and full of more energy and warmth than before. And I think that's where you're headed, Pile 1. I think that's what the universe wanted to tell you today, because I think you maybe have been getting disheartened because of the amount of effort you've already been putting in, and it seems so far that there have not been results, or maybe quite as many results you've been looking for, because sometimes that's what the Eight of Wands as the first card can mean in my spread, is we want something to go faster. We're like, man, I need this to be done quick. It's just like, literally like the fireworks in the card, or something kind of happening out of nowhere and being, explosive in how quickly, their lifespan runs, like wanting things to be at a greater progress. However, this is a situation that just takes time. So also don't be hard on yourself if it has been taking more time than you're expecting. I'm hearing something, I guess, is I wouldn't take it as a personal reflection of failure on your part if it's been taking slower. It's just the natural amount of time it requires on your path for this metaphorical thaw to occur. Okay, so just remember, be easy on yourself and keep going one step at a time. There's no race. There's no saying you have to do it now, immediately get it done tomorrow. Everything that is massive change, like the Tower talks about, okay, those are big changes, takes time. Okay, so just self-care. Keep going. One day at a time, one step at a time, and keep asking yourself, as that card said, what am I learning about myself and others? And that will also help keep you going in the answers that you find in response to that question from deep inside. Okay, so that was your reading today on your message from the universe, my wonderful Pile 1. I hope the message, helped you. Number one, that's my main concern with these readings. You walked away feeling like you were helped in some way, but also that you liked it and it resonated with your situation. If so, please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so already. And thank you very much if you do choose to do any one of those three things, if not more than one. And as we say in our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or night. And I will see you sometime in the woods very soon. Bye. Hello there, Pile number 2. Welcome to your message from the universe reading. And as you recall, you were drawn to the star from the Spacious Tarot, which is from the viewpoint of someone looking up through pine trees at a very bright star overhead. So with that being said, we'll put your star card over here to the left to begin. And let's draw your oracle cards to get our first glimpse into what the universe wants to tell you today. So, calling on Spirit and the universe for your highest, best good. What is it that you want Pile 2 to know? What should they know? Advice, blessings, wisdom, warnings, predictions, heads-ups. And I'm drawn to this one, and we have, transformation with the butterfly. So it's very possible, Pile 2, that this reading might be centered around a lot of messages on change, things finally turning from one form into another, just as the butterfly does. Okay. And then let's grab your Dream Ritual Oracle. Okay, this one is prominent, so we will take it. Ooh, we have observe with the new moon in the background, which does make me think of transformation, as, at least to me, the new moon tends to represent the start of a new cycle, so a new beginning of some sort. But we also, of course, have the theme of observe, which makes me think of your pile leader because, as you recall, like I just said, it's a very viewpoint-focused kind of card because of the way it's drawn, like someone looking through the trees overhead. So I wonder if there might also be a theme today around the way you perceive something, the way you look at certain things. But we will see. Let's grab your other cards too. Okay, this one seems most prominent. We have, very fitting, we have a lot of synchronicity. We have the word perceptive with this card, and we were just talking about the way we perceive things and observing things. And we have, it looks like a figure, she's got tears down her cheek. And interesting, she has an ocean within the shape of her form. And then the keywords are oblivious and aware. I wonder if the ocean is about observing something within. I wonder if the observation you need to make, that spirit or the universe is trying to encourage you towards, is really a self-perception type matter rather than outside of yourself. But, of course, we'll keep going. And then for the last oracle deck today, we're using the Wild Harmonic, and I always read from the guidebook for this deck because, for those of you that have seen my videos before, you know I always call it a really well-written guidebook. And also, sometimes the wording in it can bring out synchronicities that maybe you recognize watching this that I don't necessarily perceive as the tarot reader. This one is most prominent. We have Dimensional of Air with Ceaseless Beginning. Speaking of cycles of change and things transforming. Okay, and we'll read from the guidebook as I said, so let's first rearrange the desk a little bit. We'll put the star in here so it's available for the message if need be. And we'll put your prominent card up here that we're reading from. Okay, pile 2, Dimensional of Air. There we go, I did just pass it. But I found it. Okay, Ceaseless Beginning, and it says, Dimensional of Air. As the energies of the dimensional expanse embody into the interconnected intelligence, the newness of every moment is revealed. Starting over, so new beginnings, like I was just telling you about, starting over, newness, beginner's mind, asking good questions, seeing things, like perception talks about, being perceptive, seeing things for the first time, and the ability to find innocence again. Removing the shackles of experience, I reach into this actual moment, the one that I am made of. This card reminds me that every question contains its own answer. Each line of inquiry eventually leads back to itself. Each curve of space finds its return from whence it came. No matter where I stand, I am at the center. No matter how far I have come, I am always at the beginning. And I'll just pause. I would not be shocked, pile 2. Put a pin in it. We'll see if the Fool card comes out for your reading today with your tarot spread. I would not be surprised if it did. And the inquiry at the bottom of your guidebook page is kind of like a question to ask yourself or something to meditate on. That's why I really love this guidebook, is mainly, well, the description's right, but also the inquiries at the bottom. It says, in what ways can I begin again right now, no matter where I am in the experience? So that question boiled down is basically ask yourself, pile 2. In what ways can I start over in the present moment? And reminding yourself, in what ways do I perceive something has ended or is too far gone to attempt again, that I actually could start anew once more? Okay, so ponder over that question. That's part of your message from the universe today. So yes, lots of synchronicities with this reading. Things changing, new beginnings, cycle starting over, and of course, Even 2 of your oracle cards had the same thing about observing and being perceptive. And as I said earlier, I feel like part of that is really something about perceiving something within yourself rather than outside of yourself. But of course, let us get the whole gamut of the message through your tarot cards today. So, Spirit Universe for pile 2. What do you want them to know about this transformation and this perception kind of situation, new beginnings, things like that? Maybe you've been seeking a new beginning recently, pile 2. Or maybe you have lingered in one place for too long and this message is like the universe nudging you towards starting anew, leaving and let go of the old, but we'll see. First card today is the Elder or the King of Pentacles reversed. So this can mean for some of you that this thing not serving you anymore, that maybe you're asking to reevaluate the perception on, is actually related to, well, security, where you live. It can also be, pentacles most prominently tend to represent career and finances. So it can literally be about your job or your career. However, it can also be, like I said, I was feeling for a lot of you, this is an internal thing, perception. It can mean the way that you perceive your security, as a keyword with the King of Pentacles. Security within yourself, like being secure and not insecure about certain things. But let's keep going. We'll see. Lots of earth imagery, though. And some air, too. But, oh, now we have some water with the Two of Cups reversed. Okay. This can also mean that this is reflecting in the relationships in your life, either with other people or your relationship with yourself. Sometimes I do see the Two of Cups as your relationship within oneself. And oftentimes when it's reversed, it can mean that there is some sort of disharmony or lack of unity there. So maybe that's why you're being encouraged towards this new beginning, or to ask yourself, how can I start over again today? Maybe it's starting over your relationship with yourself, which oftentimes does lead to starting over in relationships outside of ourselves, because a lot of our ability to have relationships with others is dependent upon our relationship with ourself. So let's keep going. We'll see what else pops out. We have the Eight of Swords, which is about feeling trapped in some way, especially with mental things, being mentally trapped in patterns that no longer serve us. Oftentimes, too, it's kind of that caveat of not only are we trapped, but also it's an entrapment that we have the power to get out of ourselves if we just believe in A, our ability to free ourselves, but also B, to recognize the pattern for what it is and know that we have the key in our own hand and being willing to unlock that door out of the jail that we're in, mentally, so to speak. Okay, so let's keep going. More water with the Child or Page of Cups. I think that might be some advice for you on this path, pile 2. And last but not least, we have, and what did I tell you? This happens so often in my readings recently. The Fool came out. I told you. I was like, I would not be shocked if the Fool comes out. And look at the Fool came out. Number 0. It is the card of new beginnings. However, you did get it reversed initially, which can be a piece of advice, but it can also be a card of encouraging you towards new beginnings if you have not gone with them already. So, number 1, pile 2. Flashing neon sign in your face from this reading is for sure, in some area in your life, you're being encouraged towards a new beginning. I think you might unconsciously know that you feel trapped somewhere. You unconsciously know that someplace is not right for you. Now, it might be external, like I said, in terms of, say, the job example. It might be that you're like, I know this place isn't for me. I know that it's not really the best place in terms of my compensation or the way that I'm treated at this job, etc., so on and so forth. Or it could be internal too. Maybe your internal landscape is, as I said, not secure. Maybe there's some gardening and nurturing to be done within yourself to encourage that greater security, to encourage that greater relationship with yourself, like the Two of Cups reversed can indicate, right? And that naturally will lead you to this freeing with the Eight of Swords. Now, currently the Eight of Swords is upright, and it's the heart of the matter, central card. And what that can mean, pile 2, is that we're currently still in that energy of that mental entrapment. Okay, so what the universe is saying is they want you to free yourself. They want you to feel more free. But to do that, you have to look at areas of your life where maybe you are unconsciously seeking a fresh start, unconsciously wanting something new, but you're denying it to yourself because maybe you're denying what you observe. Maybe you're denying what your perceptions have been or your intuitions. Because change can be scary. Change can freeze a lot of people. I mean, especially if it is related to, say, a job, because security comes into account. But maybe that Elder of Pentacles or King of Pentacles reversed is that fear you have of the lack of security if you were to change that job or career, for an example. Or even if it's not related to job or career, pile two, if it's related to, say, maybe a relationship that you're in that isn't great. Same thing. Sometimes we fear leaving relationships because we fear losing that security of being in a relationship, even if we know deep down that it makes us feel trapped or that we're not actually quite as happy as we come off in this relationship, or that we like to pretend to ourselves that we are. Okay. So I think, in general, for everyone watching Pile 2 today, if you ask yourself deep down, what have I been denying in terms of where I'm actually happy and where I'm not? Where relationships, either outside of myself or within, have not been as harmonious as I've been trying to tell myself they are, or things that aren't as secure as I tell myself they are. And where does that intersect with where I feel trapped in life right now, especially mentally with the Eight of Swords, remember? That will lead you to that change and that new beginning and that transformation that you have been looking for. But what it requires in the first place, Pile 2, is for you to look for it with your eyes wide open rather than shut. Okay, so what that requires then is to look at situations realistically without the filter of, say what maybe some insecurities might tell you, or what like you've been telling yourself so far that you think you want. And I think that's where you'll find, I guess the phrase coming to mind intuitively is better horizons. Better horizons is what I'm being told to tell you right now. So I think, yes, if you do that self-reflection, you'll find that the whole time maybe the key to that jail cell from where you feel trapped has been in your hand all along. It's just you've been afraid to look down at your own palm because of that scariness of change. And I think maybe that's why you were chosen that particular star today with the Spacious Tarot. Now, you didn't get it again, so we don't have it on the table, unfortunately. But as you recall, it was someone looking up through the perspective of down in the forest beneath a bunch of pine trees up at a star above. It's looking at something in a different perspective. And so I think you're just being asked to look at these things that maybe have been frustrating you or you're not really truly happy with deep down inside, and shift them and look at them in that different perspective, and then you'll find that key in your hand that you've been looking for all along. Okay? And then you also have some advice here too with the Page of Cups and the Fool reverse. So Page of Cups is kind of a repeating of what I've been telling you, but basically in advice, it often is a encouragement for you to explore your relationships, excuse me, and to also explore your feelings on things. I think maybe recently you've been stuffing some feelings down because of that fear of what you might find or see. Because sometimes we stuff feelings away and we trap them away, like Eight of Swords talks about. Everyone does it. I've done it myself. We all have stuffed feelings down because they're inconvenient, but the Page of Cups encourages us to explore those things. Don't stuff them down. Don't trap them within the logic of the mind, as the Eight of Swords indicates. When you feel something in the near future regarding the things that you've been hoping deep down might change or start anew, follow where that feeling goes. Ask yourself, okay, what am I feeling? Number one, identify it. Number two, why am I feeling this thing? What caused it? And then number three, ask yourself, If I could start anew again in this situation related to this emotion that I've just questioned, how would I change or start over with what's going on right now, just to recall what your dimensional of air was talking about? And I think that might change your perceptive, your perception on things, and will help you in the end. Also, the Page of Cups can sometimes mean a surprise in traditional meanings with it too. And so I almost wonder too, if by following that path of exploring your feelings a little bit more, also exploring your relationships too, that can be in with cups because it is the water suit in tarot, you might find a surprise pile too that you didn't expect. You might go, oh, actually, maybe I am really not happy with that particular thing, or maybe I appreciate this thing more in my life and I don't have enough of that right now, and so that's something that I need to seek out and look into further and maybe start anew again in some way to find it. Okay, so really it's spirit or the universe asking you to go through a reassessment phase with how you really feel about things. And to, as I said, look at it with those eyes wide open instead of putting blinders on. Being perceptive and observing. And accepting that if we do find that we do want something to start anew or to change, that in the first place we have to acknowledge that that yearning is there. And then ask ourselves, well, why is that yearning there? And then you find your answer, right? So you might be surprised. And then last but not least, we have that Fool I talked about. I said I would not be shocked if you got it, and you did. And so the Fool, my friends, is a card of new beginnings. However reversed, it can mean being wary of risks with new beginnings, okay? Because the traditional depiction of the Fool is a youth who's, going la-di-da, right next to the cliff, right? And he's not looking where he's going because he's just so happy with his new beginning. So I would say that is a little piece of advice pile too. When or if, because you always have free will, you can make the choice. But when or if you do decide to do a new beginning of some sort, embark on a new adventure here in the near future, do be wary of risks along the way. And I actually will pull just one more clarifier for you on that, because I know if I was sitting in your position, I'd ask, well, what should I be wary of when it comes to risks? So let's ask that. Spirit, universe, what kind of risks should they be wary of with the Fool reversed? Okay, we have... Oh my god, okay. I meant to get you one card, but you got three. All right, I guess Spirit and the universe had a lot to say. Well, we have the Three of Swords reversed, which can represent overcoming pain of some sort. We also have the Explorer or the Knight of Cups reversed. And we have the Ten of Cups. So I guess what I would say is this is a warning where you do start new beginnings here. Be wary of risks regarding, number one, what it is you do to overcome the pain of it, because that's what the Three of Swords represents reversed. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get like a specific intuitive message on what that might mean. I'm not getting anything very specific, so I think usually when that happens, it's kind of, it will vary depending on each person watching pile 2 today, but just be wary of what you do when it comes to overcoming the pain of when you do start a new venture, if you choose to do so. Number 2, the Knight of Cups reversed can be risks about taking action with emotional impulsivity. So while you are being asked to reassess things emotionally and from a relationship standpoint and where you want new beginnings, when you find it, because maybe that surprise comes forward and you're like, oh my god, I'm not happy with this particular thing, don't rush when it comes to following those feelings. Sit with them for a while and then make your decision with new beginnings, okay? And then the Ten of Cups too is a interesting, a piece of advice, especially with risks, because usually it means happily ever after with relationships, pile 2, and emotional satisfaction. I'm going to see if I'm getting an intuitive message with that. One moment. It's really odd. Maybe it's because of all the cups. They're saying something about the risk of tipping things over. Oh, That's what it is. So if you do choose new beginnings here after finding emotional dissatisfaction, pile 2, be careful that you don't knock over or tip over or spill what is already making you happy on the way out. Okay, for some reason here, there's a risk regarding the way you exit things with these new beginnings if you choose them. So just be very cautious, especially when it comes to how you overcome your pain, when it comes to your careful handling of what already is working that you don't want to lose. That's the things that you don't want a new beginning with because they're going well, right? With the Ten of Cups. And then also, yes, sit with things emotionally for a while. Don't impulsively rush forward to the gates. And that will bring you what you're seeking. Okay? So, yeah, like as I said, your message today was mostly about changing things for the better and reassessing things, seeing things clearly, freeing yourself and bringing yourself to, I think it was that phrase, better horizons. It's kind of a main theme as well. Beautiful. So, hoping many new beginnings that are happy for you, pile 2, especially for things that have not been working for you and you're secretly unhappy deep down. The universe is saying that there are better horizons out there for you. So it is within your power and within your control and within your, I don't want to say you're fated, destined, right, to find those better horizons, okay? Just keep remembering that. Beautiful. So I hope you liked the reading. I hope it resonated, number one, and it helped you. Number one. Number 1 times 2, because that's my main goal of these readings. You feel helped in some way. And if so, please like the reading. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you haven't done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we always say in our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, pile 2. And I will see you again in the woods sometime soon. Bye. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 3, my pile of the star from the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Welcome to your message from the universe reading. And to begin, we're going to put your star over here to the left and draw your oracle spread for today. So calling on the universe and spirit for your highest best good. What is it that pile 3 should know? Some wisdom, some advice, warnings and predictions. Well, oh my. Those are 3 cards that just came flying out. I hope we have enough room on the table, but we'll try to make room. So we have, oh boy. We not only have patience, but we have gateway with the unicorn. And we have happiness. So, it's interesting, pile 3. I think everyone's been having kind of this collective message today in all piles of being on the cusp of something new. But I think you specifically, this is something that you've been waiting for because of the patience card bringing in that energy of, well, having had to wait for something, being patient for something. But the combination of happiness and gateway makes me think of, well, not only the new beginning, because gateways are doors to brand new places, right? But also because of happiness. Wow, that's a lot of cards that came out for you, but that's good. The more messages, the better. So actually, we'll put those up here. And feel free to rewind if you do want to look at them any longer. Just got to make sure I have room for every card on the table. And then we have your Dream Ritual Oracle. Spirit, universe, anything else? Synchronicities maybe too. And then we have record with the new moon. Again, every single pile today has gotten the new moon with their Dream Ritual card, which once again, at least personally, I always see the new moon as a new beginning. It's the beginning of a new cycle. So I don't know what it is. Right now, this reading is being uploaded in spring where I am. So it's just that new beginning energy, things being fresh, growing again after a time of perhaps stagnancy. Same metaphor I'll say to you as I said to the others. It's like that spring thaw when things have been kind of slowed down for a while. And then all of a sudden the warmth comes and then the creek thaws and the water just flows. Things progress a lot more quickly than before too. So it could be progress maybe that you've been looking for. Actually, we'll put that up there. Well, we'll rearrange everything later. You see what I mean, but for now, we will put that there. Then we have your Soul Mirror Oracle. And record. And transformation. Another very common theme in the readings today. It says repressed versus activated. And the text here, unfortunately, you might not be able to see it on camera, but it does say find your wings. So maybe an element of freeing ourselves too with the find your wings message. Transformation, things becoming anew, progress after having been patient. So I think so far, pile 3, really the main theme here is you are on the cusp of something new, something that, as I said, you've been maybe hoping for, you've been waiting for. And record is interesting because it's like, I don't know if you've been like writing down something a lot lately. Maybe you've had to make records with something. It could be, of course, related to legal matters, or it could be related to maybe you're looking for a new beginning regarding a career where you do record things often as part of the job. Like, I know, like accounting is the main thing I comes to mind, like recording finances, of course, or maybe writing in some way too with record in the ink pot and the quill. And then we have your Wild Harmonics Oracle. And I actually will be reading from the guidebook like I usually do with this particular deck, so we'll do that right after we pull this. We have Earth of Fire with Unfolding Path. I'm very curious as to what that represents. Now, generally, Earth is about the security around us, and Fire is about our passions and ambitions. And here's the rearrange I was talking about. We're actually going to put your star back into the deck so it's available for the message if need be. But let's read that guidebook card right now. Beautiful. Thank you, universe, for your messages. And we have Earth of Fire. I bet you it's right here. Yep. Okay, Unfolding Path, Earth of Fire. As the earth energies ascend into the driving will, the fuels of will become the indicator of the path to take. It says, finding my way of passion, knowing what moves me, and choosing that direction, to find my path, my joy, my excitement, my heart, my bliss, my desire, my will, I turn to that which feeds my inspiration to go. Learning well what stokes my fires, I am able to look for signs from life as to where to go to get what I desire. This knowledge also comes in handy in determining if a path has played itself out, a clear sign to either gather more wood or to move on. Starting a fire in myself is one thing. Keeping it going is an entirely different affair. Fire follows the path of fuel. It only goes where there is something to become alive on. Knowing what fuels my fires helps me both know which direction to go and when a path has come to an end. Of course, very skillful fires can leap across the void to find a new branch upon which to alight. And the question at the bottom, which is kind of like a meditation to ruminate on, to look over, just to maybe even just ask yourself, it says, where does the fuel for my fire lay? And am I going in that direction? So a lot of your new beginning message today, pile 3, I think is really in where does your passion and your desire actually lie? What right now in your life feels like a fire that is burning brightly? It's being fueled plenty. Where in your life does it feel like a fire that is dwindling? It hasn't been given enough kindling to catch on to. It needs to maybe be fed a little bit more. Or where in your life has fire maybe actually fully gone out, and therefore you need to move forward somewhere where you can spark that fire again. So another collective message today has been about reassessing a lot of things. And I think you specifically today, pile 3, are about the reassessment of what actually makes you feel alive. Now, for those of you that did resonate with what I said about the like accounting job or a job of some sort with like recording, or it could even really mean, too, if you're into music. I mean, you record when you make music, right? Especially if you do, well, instrumentation and vocal, you record things, okay? So it could also mean like music-related things. But in general, you're being asked to reassess as I said, where those fires are sparked, where they're hungry and where they've gone out. And it could also mean, too, for those of you that really resonated in the beginning with being patient for something and hoping for a new beginning and, happiness and gateway with those 3 cards, it's very possible that you're fearing that a fire has gone out, in which case, it can literally mean the fire of, am I still passionate about this thing that I've been waiting for and it feels like it's been so slow coming? Or the fire you fear that's been going out might even be the fear of, is this even something that I should do anymore? Like, one example I'm thinking of in mundane terms is more along the lines of, like, say you do make music. We'll just use that as an example. And you're not finding as much success with your music that you've been releasing as you did in the past for, let's just say, up until this point. And so maybe you've recently been reassessing, well, should I really keep going with this? Is this really a rich vein I can still tap? Or do I need to move on? Or it could even be like letting go of a hobby or letting go of a certain career where maybe you're just burnt out. It doesn't really fuel your fire anymore. And you're asking yourself, oh, maybe I really just do need to make progress on moving somewhere where my fire is lit. Or perhaps you've already made that step, pile 3. Which is good, but at the same time, maybe you're fearing, is this actually going to work out? Will my patience pay off? Having, tried to light this new fire for this new thing that I'm trying to do. So obviously all of you are going to be in different steps of this particular journey, but I really think it is a message of reflecting your pathfinding recently and how well that fire is being kept alive, and probably even, I'm feeling it might be some predictions here too on the success of this particular thing, or if you do choose to try something new, a new fire to stoke, let's say. Maybe you're looking for some reassurance about, well, how successful will stoking that fire be if I do choose something new? And so this would be a reassurance message from the universe saying, okay, this is how it's going to work out. So also, of course, we'll find some advice along the way. So let's do that right now. We'll grab your tarot deck. We have, as you chose, the Ethereal Visions Tarot. Wonder if you will get a lot of Wands cards today, but we'll see. Could also be lots of Earth with Pentacles, I should say. Yeah, transformation is painful. Okay, we have the World reversed. World reversed often is about, should I end something or needing to end something, but we feel like we can't close the curtain just yet. Or something has overstayed its natural progression. Something needs to be curtain closed in some way. So I will, of course, pull out your other cards to be sure. But for those of you that haven't moved to something new yet, it might be a symbol or sign from the universe that it might be time to end something and start something new. But let's keep going. We have the Moon reversed, another major arcana. The illusion drops. And especially for those of you that you might still be in that, should I stay or should I go energy. I think you might have an illusion drop in the near future that really reveals to you that, yes, I do need to close and end something, okay? Because the Moon reversed is, oh, now I do see things clearly. Now, something that's what it seemed, literally the illusion on it dropped, and now I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's not what I thought it was, that kind of energy. For those of you that have already embarked on something new with your passion, and you've been already stoking that fire, but you've just been patient, hoping that it pays out, this can mean that the recent past card here with the Moon reversed can be, there's something about it that was deceiving in terms of, like, you didn't expect that. Like, say if you started a new career, there's some aspect about it that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing until I actually embarked on the journey, and now I'm questioning maybe that's where some of this uncertainty energy is coming in for some of you too, but let's keep going. And then we have the 8 of Cups, all about moving on a new path, emotionally distancing ourselves from something. Okay, so those of you that have not moved on or done something new yet, combined with the World reversed and all your cards already, and now the 8 of Cups, you have free will. You never have to do what a tarot reader tells you. You always have a choice, but the universe and spirit are really heavily encouraging you to leave things behind and start something new. because of these cards, okay? So the ball's in your court. You can make those choices. However, the indication is to maybe move on, but let's keep going. Fourth card is, look at that, we have Wands, like I was saying. Wouldn't be surprised if you got some fire here. The Knight of Wands reversed probably is an advice card, and I apologize, it will be a bit repetitive, but it's what the universe brought out. We'll talk about that in a second. And last but not least, we have the Seven of Cups, which is very fitting for a spread where we've already been talking about choosing different paths, because the Seven of Cups is often about what do I really want. Also, the barrier between what is an illusion and what is reality when it comes to what I am seeking, which is similar to what the moon reverse talked about. Okay, so pile 3. You're going to be in different categories depending on where you're at with this particular path. But I think all of you, no matter who's watching this right now, you have already come to a conclusion that there's a bit of discontent with where you are right now. And that discontent is what the Earth of Fire card talked about, where it's like, where has the fire gone out? What is eating too much of my effort in terms of keeping the fire alive? It's not like worth the effort, perhaps. What is something that I do want to keep going, but I haven't been feeding it enough fuel, for example? Or what parts of my life are like, is this fire roaring and that I want it to keep roaring, right? I want to keep it going. And when I say fire, really it means, what are you passionate or ambitious about? What do you actually want from life? Okay, that's what fire tends to mean in tarot and cartomancy in general. Okay, so no matter where you're at with that, if you started the fire, if you're still letting it sputter out and you're not sure and you're like, well, maybe I can feed it a little bit more, or you've already moved on. Okay. In general, okay, so for those of you that are considering letting it go and trying to find a gateway to greater happiness, once again, short and sweet, you're being heavily encouraged by the universe. Go. Okay, you have the World reversed, which is something needs to end that hasn't ended already. You have the Eight of Cups, which is emotionally moving on to new pastures. And then you have the Seven of Cups at the very end, which is often about choosing what actually matters in life, as I said, and also realizing what actually does matter to us, okay? And then you have so many other cards about being, gateway is a transformation of some sort, and then you literally have the card of transformation, so choosing change. And then the new moon and the record card, too, which is a new beginning after the ending of a price, or, not price. Why is price coming up? That's weird. Maybe some of you are accountants. But the new beginning of something after a prior cycle, I meant to say prior, has ended, right? So yeah, that's your advice. And for those of you that have not started something new yet, then I would interpret the Knight of Wands reversed to you as do not deny what it is that you want and take action towards what it is that you want, because knights are the action takers in tarot. And the Knight of Wands specifically is a indication or encouragement towards what am I passionate about? What do I actually care about? And he is a fire card because he is a Wands card. Okay. And he can also be a little bit of a warning against impulsivity. So it doesn't mean that you have to immediately change everything today. There's not really an indication of needing to rush here. So don't be afraid to take it slow. It's okay to slowly make this progress on this path, but you are being encouraged in that direction, okay? And then 2, you might even find that you have multiple things that you're looking for, that you're passionate about. So be very discerning about what is the greatest fire you can make with what you have in terms of your materials and feeding it, and fire meaning your goal or your new direction, okay? And especially in terms of what is realistic for you to feed, as well as what are you actually most desiring, and to follow that path too. Okay. For those of you that have already started on this path, well, good for you. The universe is basically with this reading saying, good job. You already ended something that needed to end, and you already kind of saw through the illusion of what was and realized, that really wasn't for me. I want to try this new path now. I'm going to make this progress. And so for you, especially that fall in this group, the patience card comes to the forefront, because you're like, man, check in your watch. You're like, is this going to pay off? Is everything going to go well? And for you, you do have some advice, I think, for you guys. you may have a, what's the word? A temptation. That's what I want to use. I'm hearing temptation. You might have a temptation to rush things because of that Knight of Wands reversed in the near future and the advice position. You might be like, okay, I started the new thing, universe. Give me a sign now. I want this thing to work out. I need it to, I need that outside validation of this being the right path stat because I'm starting to doubt. And some of you might even have the impulsivity of like, oh God, I need to backtrack. Oh no, I went the wrong way, etc. Be very careful about letting impulsivity drive your actions here in the near future, because that is a major warning with the Knight of Wands. Okay, so keep on the path, keep steady. Okay. And another piece of advice that might help you. Oh, also, yeah, keep on the path, especially if it's something that you're passionate about. That's another thing he talks about. But also the Seven of Cups is a piece of advice for you. For those of you, too, that are still just waiting, you already did the new thing, and you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen? I am hearing you might be having a tendency, too, to try to put all your eggs in different baskets because of a fear of this path not working out. Because you have perhaps not seen that outside success quite yet. And while it's good to not put all of our eggs in one basket, it's always wise to kind of, bet on different horses, right? At the same time, the Seven of Cups can be a warning against spreading our energy too thin when it comes to different dreams that we have. And also, with the moon reversed, as a piece of advice earlier, is to drop illusions on what's realistic, what's feasible, and what's not. Because I think, too, for those of you that are especially like, well, this hasn't worked out yet. Why hasn't it worked out yet? I need that outside validation really quick because now I'm doubting myself and my passion, my ambition. Sometimes things just take time. And I know you already know that, pile 3. We all do. But at the same time, it's kind of the impulsivity message on top of the Seven of Cups with being like, okay, well, just because you've coaxed that wood into that fire that you've been feeding and it hasn't caught on yet doesn't mean that it never will. So, yes, don't be afraid to put eggs in different baskets, but at the same time, don't put them in so many baskets out of fear that now you're all scattered and your energy is everywhere, and now it's hard for you to tend to all of those fires at once because there's just too many for you to have to feed now because of the fear of you thinking like the first one wouldn't work out, I guess is kind of how I would see that with the fire symbolism and the metaphor keeping going. And two, the Seven of Cups can mean there might be some of you that are kind of in between in terms of, yes, you've already decided, I want the new path. I don't want this old thing anymore. This thing wasn't serving me. I want this new passion to follow, right? And maybe you've kind of dipped your toes into the water with it. You've been kind of like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll kind of test it out here. The Seven of Cups can be a warning to you guys to not just flirt with dreams, but to actually work harder on making them a reality. Okay, so for those of you that have just been dipping toes in, this might be an implication for you to maybe stick a whole foot in instead of just one toe. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know why this is coming up, but for those of you that have seen Mulan from, well, it was the 1990s, I think, when it came out, Disney's Mulan. And what's his name? He's the bigger guy in Mulan. I think his name might be Qianpo. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's that moment where he goes swimming and he dips his toe in. And, like, I don't know why that scene in particular is coming to mind. Maybe it's because I use the dipping your toe in metaphor, but maybe like him, instead of just dipping the toe in, because I think right after he does that, when he's going to swim at the lake or whatever, when they're bathing, like, right afterwards, he, like, just completely dives in and it creates like this massive wave. And so I think that might be intuitively a message for you that if you do choose to not just dip your toe in and you go like all forward and into it, that it might make a bigger wave than you're expecting. You might have more impact and success than you're currently not giving yourself enough credit for, or not enough benefit of the doubt for, in terms of why you've been dipping your toe instead of going in all the way. Okay, so maybe that's a synchronous message. Maybe you watched Mulan recently, or it's one of your favorite movies. Great movie, right? I recommend it for everyone. And And at the same time, too, I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's a song in that particular part of the movie. I don't think there is. Because sometimes I get messages through music too, but I'm not hearing a specific one for Mulan right now. So, but yeah, that scene with I think his name is Tian Po. Him dipping his toe in the water. It's always funny. Anyways, maybe that resonates with you. Maybe it doesn't. So yes, just to summarize pile 3 for all of you, keep going. Don't be afraid to close doors, and your patience will pay off if you're willing to invest more and let the fire grow and give it time to grow. Okay? Also, too, with the impulsivity, I'm hearing one last final message that's a little bit of a warning. Make sure you record things. And now, I don't know how that will apply to all of your situations with whatever it is that you've chosen as this new path, but record things down. There's something about like paper trails and crossing your T's and dotting your I's that I'm hearing in terms of, to maybe say if it's a new business, it's like tracking your expenses, something like that. Record things, however that applies to your situation. That's also a bit of a warning too, to make sure you do that. Okay, I'm hearing that. Anyway, so that was your reading for today, your message from the universe, pile 3. Funny Mulan scenes aside. I hope that you liked it. I hope it resonated. I hope that it, number 1, helped you. That's my main goal with these readings. And if so, please like the video, comment down below. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. And thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more than one. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night. And I will see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye, pile 3.